Lianchhiari was born into the royal Chuao clan. Chongfianga was a commoner. In their world, that gap dictated who you could speak to, let alone marry. Even though the attraction was mutual, the social divide paralyzed Chongfianga. He couldn't dare make the first move toward a village princess. To complicate matters, Lianchhiari's father, the village chief, set a nearly impossible hurdle for any potential suitor. He decreed that only the man who could successfully chop down a massive specific banyan tree on his land would win the right to marry his daughter. Lianchhiari saw an opening. Operating entirely behind the scenes, she went to the young men of the village and quietly pressured them into stepping down from the challenge. She ensured that no one would even attempt to swing an axe at the tree. No one, that is, except Chongfianga. With the competition cleared out, Chongfianga took the test. He turned out to be incredibly skilled with an axe, swiftly cutting away the sprawling branches and bringing the giant banyan down. The chief was thrilled, and Chongfianga passed the trial. Lianchhiari didn't stop there. On the way back to the village, she faked a fall and a stomachache, refusing to walk another step until Chongfianga hoisted her onto his back and carried her the rest of the way home. Their secret romance escalated, but it didn't stay secret for long. One night, while they were sleeping together under the cover of darkness, a villager out collecting wood spotted them. In the dim light, he actually mistook Lianchhiari's pale leg for a white goat. Once the confusion cleared, the secret was out, and the chief was forced to initiate formal marriage negotiations. Through these maneuvers, Lianchhiari had outthought the rigid rules of her society. She bypassed the class divide, manufactured an opportunity for her lover to prove his worth, and locked in what appeared to be an inevitable marriage. The formal marriage process required an official messenger to negotiate the bride price between both families. That job fell to a man named Tura. But Tura was bitterly jealous of the match, and he decided to derail the entire arrangement. Tura executed his sabotage in two parts. First, he lied to the chief, claiming Chongfianga's family made unreasonable demands for the bride price. Then he warned the young commoner that the chief used negotiations as a cover to assassinate him. Believing that the royal family had marked him for death, Chongfianga abandons his home and his chance at marriage. He runs toward the distant village of Qingzal to live in exile. When Lianchhiari discovers the empty house, the loss breaks her. She throws herself to the floor, weeping in the abandoned rooms. For days, she climbs up to the hills, staring across the valleys toward the faint outline of his new home. Separated by distance and a wall of lies, the two lovers resort to the only communication left to them. They compose mournful poetry, singing their grief to each other across the mountains. Thura's strategy worked by weaponizing the very thing that kept the couple apart from the beginning, Chongfianga's awareness of his lower status. The resulting doubt shattered into an exile that would last for years. Years go by. Recognizing that their original chance is gone, both Lianchhiari and Chongfianga eventually marry other people and start families of their own. But Lianchhiari's obsession never fully fades. When Chongfianga's son happens to visit her village one day, she sets up a wrestling match between him and her own son, actively rigging the fight so her own child loses, ensuring that Chongfianga's bloodline comes out on top. Years after his flight, Chongfianga returns to the village, no longer a suitor, but a traveling salesman peddling clay pots. Lianchhiari immediately brings him inside. That night, long after the rest of the village goes to sleep, the two of them stay awake. They sit by the fire, drinking together, and ignoring the years of distance between them. But they aren't entirely alone. Lianchhiari's current husband, Talera, is wide awake in the very same room. Intimidated by the history between the two lovers, he hides silently beneath his woven blanket, listening to their entire conversation. Lianchhiari knows her husband is listening. She doesn't care. Looking right past the man she married, she tells Chongfianga that her feelings for him have never faded and never will. Her defiance outlasts her marriage. In her twilight years, after her husband's death, Lianchhiari tells her own son that she wishes he had been fathered by Chongfianga instead. Jealousy and social rank dictated the logistics of their lives, where they lived, who they married, and where they raised their children. But those boundaries failed to reach the connection between them, which remained intact through decades of exile and deceit.